Welcome to the families and friends of all our graduates. We're delighted that you have joined us for this monumental occasion. The 2026 spring commencement will now begin with the student processional, followed by the platform party. The audience is requested to remain seated during the processional. Ladies and gentlemen, the chair of the faculty, Dr. Walter Robinson, the senior vice provost, Dr. Helen Chen, deans of the colleges, members of the board of trustees, and honored guests. Will the audience please rise for the presentation of the colors by the NC State Combined Color Guard and our national anthem led by Wolfgang a cappella.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
Will the audience please be seated? And please welcome Kevin Howell, Chancellor of North Carolina State University.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Carter Finley Stadium for North Carolina State University's spring commencement exercises. Thank you all for joining us for this very special day. I would like to recognize the members of the NC State Board of Trustees, esteemed guests, and members of the Platform Party. We are delighted to have you with us as we celebrate the class of 2026. NC State is proud to be the People's University, a significant force in North Carolina's economic vitality, and dedicated to improving the lives of all North Carolinians through our teaching, through our research, extension, engagement, and economic development activities. Our university system is nationally renowned thanks to exceptional students, excellent faculty and staff, and the critical funding that our state leadership provides to the University of North Carolina system. And I want to congratulate each and every one of our graduates here today as we celebrate their many achievements and thank them for the role they have played in making NC State such an outstanding place to live, learn, and work. What you have been able to accomplish during your time at NC State is nothing short of extraordinary, even in the rain. Even in the rain. Come on. We're still gonna celebrate today. You know, we have a lot of celebrating to get to, but first, let's take a moment to hear from our Board of Trustees Chair, Chair Ed Stack.
Thank you, Chancellor Howell, and thank you, members of the Platform Party, our faculty, and the family and friends of today's graduates. First, I would like to introduce our Board of Trustees members with us today. Please stand as I introduce each of you. Marie Arcuri, Timothy Humphrey, Gazelle Johnston, Wendell Murphy, David Powers, Perry Safran, and Harry Shaw. And your 2025-2026 Student Body President, also one of today's graduates, Isaac Carreño. Thank you all for being here on such a special occasion and for all the hard work that you do for our great university. To our graduates, I would like to offer you my sincerest congratulations. Today is your day, the time where we get to celebrate your years here on campus. To the friends and families that are here today as well, thank you. Your support and encouragement were an instrumental part of the graduates' journey here at NC State. You know, NC State prides itself on offering students a unique educational experience that will teach them to think boldly and critically. You have now received this foundation and the skills necessary to take on the challenges that life presents you. We're excited to welcome you to the vast community of Wolfpack alumni and encourage you to stay connected with the university as you begin the next stages of your lives. You are truly part of a great legacy. Congratulations again, and we cannot wait to see where your next adventures take you. Go Pack.
Thank you, Chair Stack, and thank you to all of our Board of Trustees members. Let's give them another round of applause to our Board of Trustees. We are especially delighted to have with us today another individual who is truly committed to the value of higher education in North Carolina and beyond. To bring greetings from our Board of Governors, please join me in welcoming Terry Hutchins.
Well, good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Governors, it is my great pleasure to be addressing the 2026 graduates. Today is such a special day. You, alongside your family and friends, and the entirety of the NC State community, have the opportunity to celebrate your amazing academic accomplishments and the beginning of a new chapter of your life. Your journey in higher education has not been without challenges, but your presence here today is proof of your dedication and strength. I hope that your success so far encourages you and shows you that an NC State degree has prepared you to achieve your goals. As a proud alumnus of this great university myself, I can state this truth with confidence, and I'm even more grateful to be a part of this special time. I also hope that you, the class of 2026, know that you will always have a home here as part of the Wolfpack. I have no doubt that you all will continue to make a positive difference in this world and inspire others to do the same. Congratulations, class of 2026, and go Pack. At this time, it is my privilege to present the 2026 Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching to one of your most outstanding faculty members. This award was established by the Board of Governors in 1994 to underscore the importance of teaching and to reward great teachers across the university system. The awards are given annually to a tenured faculty member from each of the UNC campuses. Each winner receives a bronze medallion and a cash reward. Recipients are nominated by committees on their home campuses and selected by the Board of Governors Committee on Personnel and Tenure. I'm absolutely proud and privileged to say that this year's winner is Dr. Katie Sheets. Dr. Sheets, Chancellor Howell, will you please join me? I believe there's at least a crowd of people out here who know who she is. Dr. Sheets is the Associate Dean of Professional Education and Admissions and a Professor of Equine Primary Care in the College of Veterinary Medicine. She exemplifies the highest standards of pedagogical excellence and educational leadership at NC State University. And since joining the faculty in 2014, she has distinguished herself as a skilled instructor and visionary scholar of veterinary education. She actively applies her expertise through her research and self-regulated learning, community-based learning, and client communication. Her commitment to evidence-based teaching has earned her election to the Board of Governors for the Academy of Veterinary Educators, where she serves as a distinguished expert and founding member. She also received the American Association of Equine Practitioners Distinguished Educator Award in 2014, the NC Outstanding Teacher Award in 2023, and the Academy of Educators Education Innovator and Service Award in 2022. Congratulations, Dr. Katie Sheets. Okay. Dr. Sheets.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's give Dr. Sheets another round of applause. At this time, I would like to make a special recognition to honor the NC State faculty members who this year received the Alexander Kors Holiday Medal. Named for NC State's first president, the Holiday Medal is the highest award bestowed by the university in recognition of faculty career excellence. As I announce their names, the photographs of this year's recipients will be displayed on the screen. Dr. Francis de los Reyes III from the Department of Civil Construction and Environmental Engineering in the College of Engineering. And Dr. Carol Hall from the Department of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering in the College of Engineering. Congratulations on your outstanding career accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, the most prestigious academic honor that NC State confers is the honorary degree. The authority to award honorary degrees resides with our Board of Trustees and involves the faculty, trustees, and the administration. I'd like to ask Chair Stack to join me at the podium and ask the other members of our Board of Trustees to stand at their seats. Dr. Bright, would you please come forward? Dr. Robertson, Chair of the Faculty, will you present the citation for our first honorary degree recipient?
Anthony S. Breich is President Emeritus and a Senior Fellow at the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. Breich was President from 2008 through 2020 and led the Foundation's efforts to transform educational research and development after more closely joining researchers and practitioners to improve teaching and learning. Prior to his work at the Carnegie Foundation, he was a faculty member at the University of Chicago. There he founded the Center for Urban School Improvement, now called the Urban Education Institute, and the Consortium on Chicago School Research, now called UChicago Consortium on School Research. Breich is also a successful author, having published 5 books related to educational transformations.
Dr. Breich, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations. You may be seated. Debbie, will you please come forward? Dr. Robinson, will you read the citation for our next honorary degree recipient?
Deborah Hamrick is a respected leader in the horticultural industry with an enduring impact on agriculture, global horticulture, and public service spanning 4 decades. Previously, she served as Director of Specialty Crops for the North Carolina Farm Bureau Federation and as Editorial Director for Ball Publishing. Throughout her career, she has advocated, championed, and empowered others through information and communication, connecting across generational and professional lines with insights on markets, current events, and policy issues. Hamrick is a proud alumna of NC State University, where she earned a Bachelor of Science in Horticultural Science in 1981. In 2023, she received a Distinguished Alumni Award from the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
Debbie, by the virtue and the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Sciences, honoris causa. Congratulations. Jackie, will you please come forward? Dr. Robinson, will you read the citation for our final honorary degree recipient?
Jackie Shelton Green is the 9th North Carolina Poet Laureate. Appointed in 2018, she is the first African American and the 3rd woman to hold the role. She currently serves as a poetry editor for Walter Magazine and recently retired as a professor of documentary poetry at Duke University. In 2014, she was inducted into the North Carolina Literary Hall of Fame. Throughout her career, she has collaborated with various museums, including as the poet in residence at the North Carolina Museum of Art from 2021 to 2024. Her poetry has been commissioned, performed, choreographed, and translated into symphonies, films, and paintings by visual artists, dance companies, and musicians. Her work has been featured in performances by NC State dance companies and in the Gregg Museum of Art and Design exhibition, Words Equal Power.
Jackie, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations. Let's give them another round of applause. We would now like to welcome today's commencement speaker, Harry Sedaris. Harry Sedaris, a proud Wolfpack alumnus. He serves as President and Chief Executive Officer of Duke Energy, one of the nation's largest energy utilities. With 30 years of experience at Duke Energy, Sedaris oversees a workforce of more than 26,000 employees. And yes, they hire a lot of NC State employees. Harry Sedaris and Duke Energy ensures reliable service for over 10 million customers across 6 states. He has held key leadership roles spanning customer service experience, utility operations, and environmental safety. He demonstrates a deep commitment to operational excellence and community service. Beyond Duke Energy, Sedaris lends his expertise as a board member for Edison Electric Institute, the Institute of Nuclear Power Operations, and the World Association of Nuclear Operators. He's also a member of the Business Roundtable and the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council. Harry holds a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from NC State University and an MBA from Campbell University. And he completed the Advanced Management program at the University of Chicago. Sedaris grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, where he attended T.C. Robertson High School. He and his wife, Katina, live in Charlotte and have 2 beautiful daughters. Harry, my friend, you honor us today with your presence, and we look forward to your remarks. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Harry Sedaris, CEO of Duke Energy.
Good morning, everybody. I didn't hear y'all. Good morning. All right. The rain's not going to dampen us. The sun's out now. Thank you, Chancellor Howell. Thank you, Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, parents, family, friends, and most of all, the class of 2026. Congratulations on reaching this tremendous milestone in your lives. I know your day is going to be really busy today, taking thousands of pictures, having lots of after parties to attend, but I want to make sure that you don't let this moment slip away. This is a huge moment for you guys. You are graduating today from one of the finest institutions in the entire world. I know the Chancellor said in the country. I'm going to use the world. So let's give yourselves another big round of applause for that. It is such an honor for me to be here and a treat to return to my alma mater, a place that holds so many fond memories for me, like painting the Free Expression Tunnel at 3 in the morning before homecoming. I remember camping out for basketball tickets outside of Reynolds Coliseum when we used to do that, and having to light fires in the trash cans to keep warm in December and January. And I especially remember loading up on ice cream at the Tally Center, which looked nothing like the palace that you have today. Back then, it looked more like a DMV office. And y'all have a better name for the ice cream now than back then. Howlin' Cow, what a great name. Back then, it was just NC State Dairy ice cream. And I remember meeting people who became my lifelong friends, who to this day seem to know exactly when I'm going into an important meeting and choose exactly that moment to blow up the group text. I feel my phone vibrating in my pocket right now. Most of all, I remember how proud my parents were at my graduation in this very stadium. They were my biggest champions. My mother, she passed away this past January. And as I stand here today, I'm thinking about the many sacrifices she and my dad made to help me succeed. I suspect a lot of you out there know what I'm talking about. Moms, dads, grandparents, other family, the people who showed up for you again and again. So tomorrow's Mother's Day, but I don't think we should wait to celebrate the folks that we love. So let's take a moment and give a big round of applause for those celebrating tomorrow. For those procrastinators out there, and I know there's many because I was one of them when I sat out there, you still got a few hours to order flowers, so get on it. Now, a quick disclaimer. Most people will not remember their commencement speaker. If you don't recognize me in the parking lot later, no offense taken. I happen to remember mine, but not for the reasons you'd expect. Our speaker was former U.S. Senator Elizabeth Dole. It was about 100 degrees in Carter Finley that May Day, and back then all the gowns were black, not red like today, and they were made out of polyester, and so there we were, sweating, slowly melting, when one of my classmates decided he was going to disrobe and strip down to his leopard print bikini briefs and run across the stage. So I don't remember a thing Senator Dole said that day, but I do remember that tackle by the public safety officer. We should have signed him up for the football team. It's been a long journey for me from sitting where you are today to where I'm standing today. But a whole life happened in between those two periods, and much of it I didn't predict. When I left NC State in 1994, I thought my career goal was to be an engineer, to design stuff sitting in the corner, heads down, not talking to anybody, and nobody talking to me. Then a few years out, I was flipping through the classifieds in the newspaper, and I saw a job at Carolina Power and Light. Graduates, you can ask your family members later what classifieds are. Let's just say that was the time before LinkedIn. I applied for the job, and I was blessed to be hired as an operations engineer. It wasn't a glamorous job by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, some people called it the things that nobody else wanted to do. But not long after I started in the summer of 1996, Hurricane Fran hit the East Coast. It was a devastating storm. Here in North Carolina, around 1.7 million customers lost power. In the aftermath, I was sent out into the field to help the restoration crews on the ground. I was 26 years old with no clue what to do. Not exactly who you want out there trying to get your power hook back up. But I was so glad to be there, seeing the joy on people's faces when the lights came back on. There was nothing like that. I found that when AC works, when you can cook with your family, or even just watch TV together, those are the things that give us a sense of steadiness in our lives. I saw firsthand that we were making a difference. That summer, something changed for me. It was my own lights coming on moment, so to speak. I realized then my job just wasn't about plant operations. It was about helping people. That sense of purpose has kept me at Duke Energy ever since. 30 years and 20 different roles. Now you may be thinking, that's nice, Harry, but what that's got to do with me? I share it because I want you to know the future you've always imagined for yourself might not turn out to be perfect fit like you think. And the role you accept as your job for now might reveal itself as your life's work. So don't worry if you haven't figured out what exactly lights you up yet. Wherever you are on your journey, here's my advice to you. Embrace the uncomfortable. That's where growth happens. That's where the most exciting breakthroughs live. In retrospect, my career trajectory can be explained in one sentence. When opportunity knocked, I never said no, even when I kind of wanted to. Let me share an example. A few years after I started with the company, they were hiring for a manager's level position. I didn't think I was ready for it, and neither did my boss. He actually told me so. But one of my mentors disagreed. That mentor knew something I didn't appreciate at the time. Yes, I had more to learn, but I also had more than enough to start. So he nominated me for the role. HR reached out, that interview, and eventually that role set me on the path to what brought me here today. There were lots of challenges in that first year. On my first day, I didn't feel confident. I was actually scared to death. Frankly, my whole first year as a manager, I was figuring it out in real time. It was uncomfortable. But that's the point. You don't grow by waiting until you feel you're ready. You grow by stepping into things that will stretch you. And NC State grads always figure it out. So take the leap and trust that the safety net will appear. One of the most defining episodes in my life was also one of the hardest. It was September 2017 when Hurricane Irma struck Florida. It was a Category 4 monster, 200-mile-an-hour winds. It affected the entire state of Florida and left millions of customers without power. At the time, I was leading our Florida business, and it was honestly quite a mess. I remember being in the Storm Control Center at 11 o'clock one night. We had promised our customers we'd have their power back by midnight. With only 1 hour left, we still had 500,000 customers without power, so we weren't even close. It was more than a tough day at the office. It impacted real people navigating a terrible storm. It felt like the whole world was coming down around me, and I couldn't do anything about it. Eventually, we got the power restored, but it wasn't a moment for celebration. It was a time for deep reflection. And in my next job, when I was put in charge of overseeing our electric grid operations, including storm response across 6 states, my first priority was making sure that this would never, ever happen again. I took what I learned in that painful experience and used it to do better next time. That's all any of us can ask of ourselves. Not perfection, but a commitment to progress. And I'm guessing everyone in this stadium has faced some kind of storm during your time here at NC State. Maybe you went through a tough breakup. Maybe you missed a critical shot and lost the game. Maybe you almost failed thermodynamics. Not that I'm speaking from experience. Storms will happen. You will weather them. You are ready to embrace the uncomfortable. And I know that in part because despite of everything I've been talking about, you've kept your commencement gowns on so far. So let's keep that streak alive. So let me close with the same wise words my advisor, Dr. Setzer, offered me. He said, Harry, when you leave NC State, what matters most won't be anything you learn from a book. What your diploma proves is that you can be taught. He was absolutely right. Being teachable means you'll walk into a role you're not ready for and grow into it. It means you'll fail at something important and learn from it. It means the landscape can change around you and you'll adapt right along with it. It's no secret that y'all are entering a turbulent world, from a tough job market to uncertainty around AI, to wars abroad, to polarization here at home. And last time I checked, there wasn't a class called How Do You Deal with All That? But you have spent years here learning how to learn, how to wrestle with hard problems, how to ask for help and offer it, how to work alongside people who are different from you and build something incredible together. An NC State education doesn't just give you knowledge, it gives you something even more durable, the ability to keep growing no matter what comes next. And if you want proof, look no further than our own Wolfpack astronaut, Christina Cook. Ooh. Who just returned from outer space on Artemis II. That's the kind of achievement an NC State education can launch, literally. So here's my challenge to you graduates. Go find your Hurricane Fran. Take the job you're not ready for. Figure it out in real time. And yes, make sure you have a good group text. Never run from the uncomfortable. Run towards it. Because here's what you learn. Confidence doesn't come before the leap, it comes after. And that's where your best work and your best life will be found. You have a whole Wolfpack cheering you on today and every day, and I cannot wait to see what this class accomplishes in the future. Congratulations again, class of 26, and go Pack!
Let's give Harry another round of applause. Thank you again for being with us today, Harry, and for addressing our graduates. Now let us pause to enjoy a special musical presentation from Wolfgang a cappella.
Fly, fly, fly in the sky, on the moon, to the stars. Mama told me not to waste my life. She says, spread your wings, my little butterfly. Don't let what they say keep you up at night. And if they give you, then they can walk on by. My feet can't touch the ground, and I can't hear a sound. But you just keep on running up in my yeah. Walk on over there, 'cause I'm too fly to care. Oh yeah, your words don't mean a thing. I'm not listening. Keep talking. All I know is Mama told me not to waste my life. She said, spread your wings, my little butterfly. Don't let what they say keep you up at night, 'cause they can't detain you. These wings were made to fly, and we don't let nobody bring us down. No matter what you say, it won't hurt me. No matter if I fall from the sky, these wings were made to fly. Hey, 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 I don't hear no one saying, hey, 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 hey. I don't hear no one saying, hey, 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 hey. You better keep on walking. I don't wanna hear you talking, boy. You better keep on walking. I don't wanna hear you talking, boy. You better keep on walking. I don't wanna hear you talking, boy. Keep talking, all I know is your words, they don't mean a thing. I'm not listening. They're just like water on my wings, and we don't let nobody bring us down. No matter what you say, it won't hurt me. No matter if I fall from the sky, these wings were made to fly.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in giving Wolfgang a cappella another round of applause. Thank you so much for that performance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. The conferring of degrees. To begin the conferring of degrees, please welcome Senior Vice Provost Helen Chan.
Dean Peter Harris will present the candidate for the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, and the Doctor of Design degrees.
Congratulations, graduate students. It is a distinct honor to acknowledge this exceptional cohort of master's and doctoral students who come from across North Carolina, across the U.S., and from nations across the globe who are graduating this fall. These incredibly talented students seeking both master's and doctoral degrees span a broad range of disciplines, ranging from advanced analytics to youth development and leadership, and a huge variety of degrees in between. Put simply, you have gained the academic and professional skills to be supremely career and workforce ready. You have developed new knowledge and learned new innovative approaches through your research, as well as both the academic and professional skills from our dedicated faculty. As part of the land-grant ethos, you have translated that learning to address the critical challenges that we face. You've learned to really think and do, and we are incredibly excited to see the future impacts that you will have on this state, the country, and the world. Will the marshals please conduct the doctoral candidates to the right of the stage? Will the audience celebrate these graduates? Chancellor Howell, upon recommendation of the Administrative Board of the Graduate School, I am delighted to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, and Doctor of Design. Dr. Ed Funkhauser from the Department of Communication and Dr. Kyung-hee Ha from the Department of World Languages and Cultures will announce the candidates.
Depratim Adak. Mohammed Asanuz Aman. Saida Momotaz Akhtar. Faiz Alum. Gazelle Ashrafi. Shaum Prasad Vasdayatri. Jana Brianne Brooks. Edgar Carejo. Maria Heisha Carrillo Carrasquillo. Mounye Chen. Yen Shi Cho. Diego Cornejo. Ana Cubas Baez. Jacob Day. Hausa Du. Bernard Anthony Durham, Jr. Aaron Dumeril Elmore. Saleja Elduri. Yamel Jesus Pradel. John Joseph Fenimore. Emily Marie Flois. Earl Gilmore Ford IV. Aidan John Furlong. Timiola Yabdimosi Abdini. Chiyu Ga. Subid Gimere. Ken Gomez Canales. Lucia Gomez Hurtado. Manuel Huck. ATM Jahid Hassan. Brendan O'Rourke Heineken. Tian Ho. Chad Everett Holloman. Xia Hong. Xing Hui. Nixon Odari Igunza. Dareje Demisi Jima. Aditya Santosh Joshi. Saket Sagar Joshi. Reza Kamali Miyab. Joseph Kaskil. Akriti Koda. Dongya Ko. Alexis Kriti. Sarah Cromer. Donggu Lee. Richard Lee. Jitan Liu. Jordan McCrimmon. Kelly McGregor. Muin Mosavi. Mary Kate Morgan Lanier. Tri Min Nguyen. Tabitha Catherine Paget.
Sivilanjani Palani. Anju Pandi. Joanne Pierce. Juliana Penn. Mariana Prieto Torres. Ethan Samuel Quinn. Christian Quinones. Aaron Michelle Ricuti. Whitney Brooke Robertson. Naima Romo Bechara. Dr. Hossein Soedi. Mohsen Aldakani. Nathan Sanders. Shri Arjun Shastri. Siddharth Shettu. Hamide Sumunju. Alexander Tako. Srinivas Teneti. Thomas Thelen. Darnush Jamadagni. Pratiti Milind Ugle. Tana Darrow Verber. Ivana Asahe Viasmil. Erica Monique Vilsaint. Jan Fon Shu. Xin Yue Shu. Abirup Basu. Helene Hong. Alexander Betts. Yilin Wan. Bon Chan. Georgie Warkis PJ. Chinwike Edze.
Hua Yue Gu. Xiao Zhan Wan. Chong Cho Xiao. Chandler Ashley Mason. Janelle Alma Johnson. Jadder Kimberly Lewis. Nilu Rajendran. Tu Han Pan. Yue Jian Wen. Saklain Raza. Zuichi Wen. Ishani Deepasika Dayananda Samarapuli Gudara. Zhu Chen Zhao. Vi Vun Tran. Nicholas Michael Carroll. Landon Keller. Manho Wan. Amanda Jewett Takanis.
Will all candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, and Doctor of Design degrees please stand? Will the major professors sponsoring these candidates today please stand with them? Chancellor Howell, upon the recommendation of the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that their appropriate degrees be conferred.
Upon the recommendation of Dean Harris, the Administrative Board of the Graduate School, and the graduate faculty of North Carolina State University, and by the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you individually the doctoral degree with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will all graduates please be seated?
Catherine Mears will present the candidates for the Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine degree from the College of the Veterinary Medicine.
College of Veterinary Medicine graduates are aligned across shared values of community, innovation, and passion for animal and human health. Will the marshals please conduct the candidates for the doctoral degree of veterinary medicine to the right of the stage? Chancellor Howell, based upon the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Veterinary Medicine, I have the honor to present the following candidates for the degree of the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Funkhauser and Ha will be announcing the candidates.
Nicole Anderson. Kenza Araba. Alexis Baker. Jamila Bazil. Ramya Baga Varapu. Whitney Bolton. Jawan Bryant. Avery Bird. Alyssa Casillas Michael. Allison Chavis. Allison Chu. Faith Church. David Cox. Sarah Ann Douglas Dawson. Kathleen Delano. Leah Dotson. Emma Eldridge. Allison Elliott. Neda Fadahi. Isla Therese Farrow. Jalen Fennell. Rachel Gagliardi. Miranda Griffin Chipurura. Lauren Hale. Eli Hall. Anna Henson. Lauren Hirsch. Emily Hovander. Sean Hubbard. Rebecca James. Anna Jones.
Jessica Kern. Lyra Kim. Madeline Claire Kuwada. Allison Lane. Lee Lay. Lindsay Long. Asia Macon. Michelle Mayakis. Laura Nera Torres. Yvonne Marie Miranda Martinez. Julio A. Mojica Perez. Kiara Muka. Meg Mulder. Gail Reed Murray. Anya Owens. Mary Leslie Parson. Abigail Patton. Keely Peak. Jillian Peterson. Melissa Lizette Pineda Perez. Julia Plasky. Shayla Quackenbush. Mara Ramos Cabrera. Alison Reed. Melissa Real Quick. Maria Likely. Sarah Grace Roach. Michaela Roberts. Aiden Rouse. Courtney Rowe. Destiny Sarno. Lizzie Sokoviak. Tasha Scarlett. Susie Schoolfield. Maxwell Seda. Francira Seda Gomez. Natasha Serrano. Anna Spencer. Sadie Strickland. Alexis Tapa. Nicole Torres Machado. Elisa Valentine. And Kaylor Womble.
Will all the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, Veterinary Medicine, please stand? Chancellor Howell, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Veterinary Medicine, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that their degrees be conferred.
Upon the recommendation of Dean Mears and the faculty of the College of Veterinary Medicine, and by the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you individually the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Will the graduates please be seated?
Dean Harris will present the candidates for master's degrees.
Will the candidates for all master's degrees, including the professional master's degree, the Master of Arts degree, the Master of Education degree, the Master of Fine Arts degree, and the Master of Science degree, please stand as I mention your college and remain standing. College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. College of Design. College of Education. College of Engineering. College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Poole College of Management. College of Natural Resources. College of Sciences. Wilson College of Textiles. College of Veterinary Medicine. And all other master's programs. Chancellor Howell, upon the recommendation of the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that their appropriate degrees be conferred.
Upon the recommendation of Dean Harris, the Administrative Board of the Graduate School and the graduate faculty of North Carolina State University, and by the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you individually the master's degree with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Congratulations again, and will the graduates please be seated?
Senior Vice Provost Chen will now recognize several groups of special undergraduate students here with us today.
Thank you, Chancellor Howell. I would like to recognize the undergraduate students who are graduating with academic honors. Those students may be identified by the color designated honor sashes that they are wearing. I will first ask those designated with a gold sachet graduating with summa cum laude with a grade point average of 3.75 and above to stand and remain standing. With those designated with a silver sash, graduating magna cum laude with a grade point average from 3.5 through 3.74, stand and remain standing. With those designated with a white sash, graduating cum laude with grade point average from 3.25 to 3.49. Please stand. Congratulations on your accomplishments. Please be seated. I would like to ask those students who have successfully undertaken and complete the special demands of the university scholar programs, the university honors program, the Goodnight Scholars program, the Park Scholar program, the Caldwell Fellow, or the college or departmental honors program to stand and be recognized at this time. Please be seated. The deans will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from their respective colleges. Once all the colleges has been introduced, Chancellor Howe will confer their degrees. Dean Gary Fox will present the candidates for the baccalaureate and associate degrees from the colleges of agriculture and life sciences.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate and associate degrees in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences please stand and make some noise? Today, I am honored to celebrate the truly outstanding graduates of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Our graduates are the lifeblood of NC State's land-grant mission. They emerge equipped with cutting-edge knowledge that directly advances the forefront of agriculture and the life sciences, which together form North Carolina's premier $102 billion industry. The agricultural prosperity, nutritional security, and ecological resilience of our state now rests squarely on the graduates that we celebrate here today. Our graduates are uniquely prepared and unmatched in their ability to tackle society's most pressing challenges. They are ready to lead the charge in ensuring a sustainable, secure supply of the food, the feed, the fiber, and the fuel that a growing population demands. Make no mistake, food security, health, and nutrition are national security. Graduates, go forth. Embrace the challenges and change our state, our country, and the world for the better. And never forget, wherever you go, you will always be part of the Wolfpack. Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Will the graduates please be seated? Congratulations. Next, please welcome Dean Mark Hoverston, who will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Design.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Design please stand? On behalf of the College of Design, I present these graduates who have fulfilled the requirements with great optimism for what they will accomplish. They have been taught to design for life and lead the design life, to balance data with intuition and imagination, to address the challenges of development in one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. They will shape those cities, protect and restore our environment, develop products and processes that improve our lives, and tell moving stories through film, animation, games, and visual documentation. Their design thinking will help us to understand the challenges we face, to generate options to solve them, and thus to design our future. I recommend them without reservation. Therefore, Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Design, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Will the graduates please be seated? Next, please welcome Dean Paola Stein, who will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Education.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Education please stand? I proudly present to you these candidates who will be extraordinary educators. They will join a network of over 5,000 NC State alumni who are currently educating students in all 100 counties across North Carolina. Because they chose education, they will make sure all learners achieve to their highest potential. Because they chose education, they will create opportunities and transform lives. They will foster the economic growth of North Carolina and serve as key pillars for the success of their communities. None of us, I'll repeat, none of us would be where we are today without educators. So to our guests, if you have ever been impacted by a teacher, a principal, a counselor, or any educator who taught you and supported you, I invite you to help me welcome this new cohort of North Carolina educators with a big round of applause. Thank you. Senior Vice Provost Chan, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Education, I proudly present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Congratulations, graduates, and please be seated. Next, please welcome Dean Jim Fentner, who will present candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Engineering.
Will the candidates for the degrees in the College of Engineering please stand? Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Engineering, I present these candidates who stand ready to redefine the boundaries of innovation and technology. These engineers and computer scientists have not only mastered complex theories, but they've also applied their knowledge to solve real-world challenges. They have spent countless hours in labs and classrooms turning ideas into tangible solutions. Their commitment to ethical engineering practices will guide them in their work towards a more fair and just society as they steward our planet's resources. They have shown exceptional skill in teamwork, leadership, problem solving, all essential qualities that define outstanding engineers. These candidates have fulfilled the degree requirements, and I am proud to recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Will the graduates please be seated? Next, please welcome Dean Deanna Daniels, who will present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences please stand? On behalf of the faculty of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, where we invite all NC State students, not just our own majors, to gain habits of heart and mind that build just communities of care, kindness, and empathy, I present today our candidates who, through their fierce inquiry into the human experience, boldly shape conversations day after day, week after week, year after year. Mark my words, these students are change agents that build a better future for each and every one of us. Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Congratulations to these amazing humans. Next, please welcome Dean Myron Floyd, who will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Natural Resources.
Good morning. Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degree in the College of Natural Resources please stand? Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the dedicated faculty and staff of the College of Natural Resources, I proudly present these exceptional graduates. They leave prepared to leave, serve, and create a world where people and natural systems thrive together, where all are welcomed, empowered, and inspired to protect, sustain, and enjoy the richness of our environment and communities. These graduates will steward our nation's forests, parks, wildlife, water resources. They will shape recreation, sport, and tourism experiences, sustainably engineer paper and advanced biomaterials, and apply innovation, science, and leadership to ensure the natural world continues to flourish for generations to come. Senior Vice Provost Chen, these students have fulfilled the degree requirements of our college, and I respectfully recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Congratulations, graduates. Will the graduates please be seated? Next, please welcome Dean Frank Buckles, who will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the Poole College of Management.
Would the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the Poole College of Management please stand? Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the faculty, I am proud to present these exceptional candidates who have engaged with our faculty, collaborated across disciplines, and worked closely with our industry partners. Through these experiences, they have developed strong analytical, problem-solving, and entrepreneurial skills to tackle today's challenges and seize tomorrow's opportunities. They are ready to make our world a better place to live and work. We welcome them as the newest members of our great Wolfpack community, one that celebrates excellence, innovation, and ethical decision-making in all we do. We proudly recommend these candidates, having fulfilled the degree requirements, be awarded the appropriate baccalaureate degrees. Congratulations. Will the graduates please be seated? Now, please welcome Dean Lewis Owen, who will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the College of Sciences.
Good morning. Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the College of Sciences please stand? On behalf of the College of Sciences faculty and staff, it is an honor to present these extraordinary graduates and congratulate them on completing their degrees. We are all extremely proud of them. Their achievements are truly commendable. Throughout their time at NC State, they have been immersed in one of the most dynamic periods in human history. This era is defined by remarkable expansion of science, marked by revolutionary advances in computational and analytical techniques, monumental data collection, artificial intelligence, and quantum science. Yet alongside this progress, we face immense challenges. Climate and environmental instability, public health emergencies, and security threats loom large over our future. With their deep scientific passion and expertise, we entrust them with tackling these formidable challenges and leading a way to a sustainable future built on innovation and data-driven solutions. Senior Vice Provost Chen, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Sciences, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Will the graduate students please be seated? Next, please welcome Dean David Hinks, who will present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees from the Wilson College of Textiles. Thank you.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees in the Wilson College of Textiles please stand? Senior Provost Chen, on behalf of the proud faculty of the Wilson College of Textiles, I present these candidates who will epitomize what it means to be a member of the Wilson for Life family. These students join almost 12,000 highly connected alumni. They will design, develop, and market the next generation of advanced fibers and textiles to ensure our first responders and military are ever safer in fire and under fire. They will develop innovative and sustainable clothing for a circular economy. They will build communities where all are welcome. They will develop the next generation of filters that purify the air we all breathe and water we all drink, and the next generation of medical textile products like synthetic aortas that extend our lives. Yes, artificial aortas are textiles. I am confident they will show their Wilson for Life spirit by giving support to fellow NC State alumni and the students that will follow them. Maybe some will one day make an impact on the world, like Anil Kochar, our Wilson College graduation speaker yesterday, who announced he and his family are wiping out the senior year debt for all of today's Wilson College of Textiles graduates. These outstanding candidates have fulfilled the degree requirements, and I am so proud to recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred. Please be seated.
Thanks, Deans. Will the Deans of all the colleges and all the faculty please stand for conferring the degrees? Will the members of the Board of Trustees please join the Deans and the faculty in standing? Will all candidates for the associate and baccalaureate degrees from North Carolina State University please stand? Chancellor Hall, presenting the Provost and Chief Academic Officer, I present these candidates who have fulfilled the degree requirements and recommend that appropriate degrees to be conferred.
As your Chancellor, I am so very proud of all of you and what you have accomplished, and challenge you to meet the exciting demands that life has to offer head on. Be proud of your NC State experience, and as you pursue your goals in the future, know that you have a whole wolf pack behind you. Upon recommendation of Senior Vice Provost Chen, the deans, the NC State faculty, and by the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I hereby confer on you individually your degree with all the rights, responsibilities, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations. Please be seated. The final group of students I'd like to recognize today are some of the bravest students we have. They're our newest commissioned officers. They're commissioned officers in the United States military. And so at this time, would you please stand so we can honor you today? These men and women made the additional commitment during their time at NC State to further develop the character, the skills, and leadership attributes to protect all of us that are here today. And not only did they develop these skills, but these attributes necessary to earn the privilege to serve our nation as Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force officers. So ladies and gentlemen and graduates, let's give these officers, our veteran graduates, and their family and friends, and all members of our military community a round of applause to thank them for their service to the United States of America, our country. You may be seated. And now that we have officially conferred degrees, let's take a look at a few more facts and figures about today's graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, those stats are incredible, and that's what makes us the #1 land-grant university in the nation, and that's what makes us the People's University. So congratulations again to the class of 2026, a very impressive group. Let's hear now from one of our exceptional graduates. Each semester, the Commencement Advisory Committee is charged with conducting a search to select one graduating student to deliver a message on behalf of the entire graduating class. At this morning's commencement exercises, we are delighted to have with us from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences graduate, Tanya Henderson Gatlin. Now get this, Tanya first arrived at NC State University in 1994 as an engineering major and built foundational skills that later defined her successful career. Decades-long career in program and project management. In 2024, Tanya returned to NC State to complete her degree, enrolling in the Leadership in Public Sector program. At the center of Tanya's story, like many of you, like all of you, is family. Family, the driving force behind her resilience and success, and the strongest anchor being her faith. She's guided by her entire church family. She has remained steadfast in her belief that she is called to win, not just for herself, but for others. Now, standing at the finish line, Tanya represents more than personal achievement. She embodies resilience. She embodies growth. She embodies the power of returning to what you started and to never, ever give up. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Tanya Henderson Gatlin.
Good morning, Chancellor Howell, and thank you so much. Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, families, my family. And most importantly, this incredible spring class of 2026. Congratulations, we made it. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, grandmothers, mothers-in-law, memas, nanas, aunties, big sisters. Thank you for your love, your sacrifices, your prayers, your strength, and for being the rock that we stand on today. And to all the heroes and sheroes that have encouraged, prayed for, spoke life, and simply didn't give up on us. And that includes my brother Kevin Henderson, my two nephews Kevon and Kavari Henderson. Tag, you're next. Thank you for the push. We landed right here at graduation. I would be completely out of order if I did not give a very special, heartfelt acknowledgement to my mama, Ms. Vicki Carol Fields Henderson. Thank you, Mom, for everything you poured into me. I am because you are. Yes, ma'am. And a very happy Ladies' Day to my Aunt Elle, my Aunt Wanda, and my Ma Jane. I love you and appreciate you dearly, and I honor you in this moment. Now, Mr. Teleprompter Man, you got to forgive me because this ain't on the script. But I dare not stand here and let everybody know that if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, I would not know where I would be. But I know this, I would not be right here. And as my Mima would say, I thank God for Jesus. Thank you. And I'm Pentecostal, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Today is surreal for me because technically, I am both a graduating senior at NC State, but I am also an NC State historical artifact. Picture it, fall, 1994. I was a freshman and an engineering major. Now let me confess something right away. I had no idea what an engineer was. In my mind, engineers drove trains and they made a lot of money. Sign me up. And yet there I was, confident, excited, and moving into Metcalf Hall on Central Campus, ready to conquer the world. Back then, the round Harrelson building was the mascot of the Brickyard. Back then, Lil Dino's and Taco Bell were the dueling dining options at the old Tally Student Center. Back then, a monthly trip to the Wolf's Den downstairs felt like five-star dining experience. Back then, we had Black Students Board, the Ultimate All-Night Bash, and the New Horizons Choir. Back then, Coach Mike O'Kane was leading the football field while Torrey Holt was scoring touchdowns and making us proud. Back then, Justin Gainey, or shall I say Coach Gainey, was shooting from everywhere on the court, and it was all net. And everybody, I mean everybody, had to trip over at least one brick a day to be fully identified as part of the pack. Yet after all of the classes, all of the lessons, extra credit assignments, late night study sessions, spades games, and exams, I left this campus without a degree in 1998. I wasn't lazy, I wasn't incapable. I was, however, heavily overwhelmed by one question that I felt was impossible to answer at the age of 19. What do you want to do for the rest of your life? And when I didn't have the answer, I thought I had failed. So I went home defeated. But here's what I didn't understand then and what I know right now. Leaving was not the end of my education. For me, it was the beginning of it. See, I was born a leader and discovered leadership before I had the language for it. So life became my classroom. I took the time and I learned through resilience, through setbacks, confidence through responsibility, and purpose through serving others. I built a career in project and program management and a full life of discovery, including a marriage to a fellow student I met right here, freshman year. Hey, George. But something always inside of me whispered, finish what you started. Thankfully, that whisper didn't only speak to me, but it spoke to my husband too. Hey, George. And one day, with the loving firmness that only a true partner can give, he encouraged me to get serious about returning with just 3 simple words. Make the call. Not enroll, not commit to classes, just make the call and find out what it would take to come back and finish. So I did. And on the other side of the phone call was Dr. Lashika Waters, academic advisor in the Leadership in the Public Sector program. The angelic implant didn't just answer the phone, but she opened the door. She listened, she advised, and she laid out a clear pathway to my finish line. And in that moment, what once felt overwhelming suddenly became possible. What had been a whisper became a plan, and that plan became this moment. So today, 32 years after my freshman year, I crossed this stage, earning a degree in the leadership in the public sector, a full circle moment that I am most grateful for. Now, please understand, this moment didn't happen because life was easy. It happened because I refused to quit. Now, for those who may not know, the leadership in the public sector program here at NC State is more than a degree. It is an online experience that equips you to lead with purpose, to serve with intention, and to create real impact in our communities, our organizations, and in the world at large. And right about now, I think we need all of that. It gave me something that I didn't have at 19, clarity. It gave me something that I needed in this season, control. It gave me remote control over my education and my future. And most importantly, it didn't just teach leadership. It developed a leader who was finally ready to finish. And for that, I say thank you, Dr. Lashika Waters. Thank you, Dr. Amanda Edwards. Thank you, Dr. Tracy Appling, and the entire LPS staff for your leadership, your guidance, and your belief in students like me. So to my fellow graduates, there are 3 short lessons I want to leave with you today that will carry you far long after today's applause fades. First, knowledge is not an event, it is a process. Your degree, our degree, is not the finish line of learning, yet it is proof that you know how to do it. The world you are entering into will change faster than any syllabus could ever. Careers will shift, technology will transform, and plans will come and go. But curiosity, which is the willingness to keep learning, will never go out of style. Secondly, never be discouraged by your current state. There were moments in my life where my current state did not look like success. I walked away from this university believing that I had missed my moment. As you sit here today, maybe your path doesn't look like what you imagined. Maybe social media comparisons have been whispering lies to you. Well, let me tell you something clearly. Your current chapter is not your final story. Growth rarely looks impressive while it's happening. Sometimes progress looks like confusion. Sometimes courage looks like starting over. Where you are today is not a verdict, but it's actually your opening argument to the world. And lastly, but most importantly, and I dare not take all the credit for this one. This one came from our pastor, the Bishop Stenneth E. Powell Sr. at the Abundant Life Cathedral right here in Raleigh. He said, and I need your help on this one. Can you find a neighbor and encourage your neighbor and say, neighbor? Oh, I can't hear nobody. Say, neighbor? Oh, neighbor. It's never too late to get better. Say it one more time. It's never too late to get better. That's right. It's never too late to learn. It's never too late to grow. It's never too late to dream. Kevin, it's never too late to win. And certainly, it's never too late to pick up wherever you may have walked away from and finish what you started. I am living proof that purpose does not expire. I will be 50 next month. Oh, yes, I will. And believe me, growth and improvement has no age limit. That's for everybody. So to my dearest class of 2026, today we join a wolf pack that stretches across generations of greatness. And if my journey teaches you anything, it's this: life is not a straight line. It is a series of turns and returns. So walk forward boldly, because life will ask you some hard questions at times. Don't be afraid if the solutions don't appear instantly. You will find that the winners are not the ones who always get the answers in an instant. But winners are the ones who had the courage to keep showing up until they became the answer. Congratulations to my fellow graduates, the spring class of 2026. And as we say around these parts, forever go Pack, and God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Tanya Henderson Gatlin, our student speaker, another round of applause. I'd like the graduating class of 2026 to join me in recognizing a couple of very special groups of people in our audience today. Let me first acknowledge the members of the Golden Grads Forever Club seated at the top of section 23. Please stand, Golden Grads Forever. Members of the Forever Club are all NC State alumni who graduated from NC State at least 50 years ago. So thank you for being with us here today. Next, this is a big one as well. Let me ask the families and the friends of our graduates to please stand so that we may honor you. Family and friends, please stand of our graduates. I'm gonna ask the students to please stand. You wouldn't be here without your family and without your friends. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. We're coming down to the end. The turning of the tassel is symbolic of turning another page in one's life. I'd like to ask our student speaker, Tanya, to come to the podium to lead the traditional turner of the tassel. Let me also ask Lynn Denise Berdecia Rivera, chair of our NC State Alumni Board of Directors, to come forward.
My fellow graduates, are you ready? It is indeed an honor to lead my fellow graduates of the class of 2026 in the turning of the tassel. You ready for the countdown? Please stand. This is our moment. On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, you may turn your tassel. Congratulations. Go Pack. Thank you, sir.
On behalf of the NC State Alumni Association and the more than 300,000 living NC State alumni, it is my happy and humble privilege to welcome the class of 2026 to the Wolfpack alumni family. As you move forward, I encourage you to visit and volunteer your time and experience to the next generation of Wolfpack Nation. Take any opportunity to howl back at your alma mater and utilize the NC State Alumni Association as the conduit for your continued connection to our great university and its exceptional student body. For those of you wearing the official NC State class ring, please ensure you have turned your ring so the block S is facing outward. This time-honored tradition symbolizes your graduation and is a mark of your outstanding achievement. On a personal note, I was in your shoes 20 years ago, proud Poole College class of 2006 from Puerto Rico to NC State. Now, in celebrating you all, join me in giving the class of 2026 a congratulatory round of applause. We wish you all the best in your careers and are excited to keep you connected to and active within the NC State University community. Congratulations and go Pack!
What a great moment this has been. Following the singing of our alma mater, the recessional will begin at the direction of the marshals and staff. I sincerely want to thank each of you for being a part of this celebration. Graduates, we would not be here today without your hard work, your dedication, and perseverance. And I'm confident that your future is bright. It is time to take your knowledge, creativity, compassion, and think and do attitude out into the world. I am so proud and happy for all of you. Congratulations again, and go Wolfpack. I'll invite everyone to rise and join Wolfgang a cappella, as they sing our alma mater.
Where the southern winds so softly blow o'er the field of Caroline, there stands ever cherished NC State as thy honored shrine. So lift your voices loudly, sing from hill to ocean side. Our hearts ever hold you, NC State, in the folds of our love and pride.
Let's all say it together. Go Pack on 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Pack!